Some major changes were getting underway now that Gaz was preparing for a life of supervillainy, so Wadsworth wouldn't be needed for a while. He decided to spend this impromptu vacation taking a trip to a place he'd always wanted to visit. Champs-les-Cimes was situated in the beautiful and idyllic French countryside. It was famous for its vineyards and the many varieties of nectars produced in the region. Being a man of refined tastes, Wadsworth determined to visit the local nectary as soon as he arrived. First, however, he made a stop at the bookshop in the town square.
What now? Kanji haladobo?
Aha.
Abu bam bunai zanga yala jablan.
Zanabana.
The bistro back in Sunlit Tides had been looking for someone to teach the chefs how to create crepes, and he felt there could be no finer recipes than from an authentic French cookbook.
Yurko. Ugh.
The nectary was on the outskirts of town and provided Wadsworth an opportunity for a leisurely drive to enjoy the scenery.
Sobidan Chibaru. Balia Bandaglan. And Su.
Grablock. Makisi.
Not only did they sell their own vintages, but they also allowed customers a chance to make their own. Wadsworth decided to try his hand at it and bought a few bunches of grapes. The nectar makers were placed in the back, probably replacing the old vats and presses Sims had used for generations. The crushing process was still manual, but despite his almost neurotic obsession with cleanliness, Wadsworth seemed to enjoy its quaintness. It would be a while before the machine did its work, so we went to browse the racks out front. As might be expected, there was a large variety to choose from. He felt he could probably spend hours here.
Sealed out photo.
Still waiting for things to finish, Wadsworth returned to the counter to see about purchasing some nectar-making equipment.
He's rack.
He hoped to talk Gaz into adding a nectar cellar back home. Just as he made his purchase, he was told his nectar was ready, but it apparently wasn't very good. Feeling coy, Wadsworth decided to cover the quality with a clever name. He could probably sell it by the box back on the island. Grabbing his bottles from the machine, he thought he may as well try some while he was here. Downstairs in the cellar was a public tasting room. Wadsworth enjoyed the warm feeling his nectar gave him, and thought it couldn't hurt to have another glass from a more refined vintage. This one was much more like it, and would probably go great with food. It was also making him a little flushed and lightheaded. But what the hell, why not have another? After that, Wadsworth headed back to town and visited the cafe for some dinner.
Over. Moise.
He went with a plate of ratatouille, which was his personal favorite. His stomach full, he returned to base camp looking to get a full night's sleep. Apparently, a delegation of Egyptian visitors was also in town for some reason. The next morning, Wadsworth went out to check the message board. A local woman named Jolene was looking for someone to help out with some trivial matter, for which she was offering a reward. Seemed simple enough.
Fipsi Moo. Zartadoo.
Jolene was relieved when Wadsworth arrived and explained that she had lost something in the Celtic ruins outside of town. She needed him to venture inside and bring it back. Feeling gentlemanly, Wadsworth agreed to do it. And besides, it would give him a chance to visit a rich historical site at the same time. A short while later he found the ruins and was impressed by the standing stones around the site. Looking around, he found some odd debris sticking out of the ground. Further investigation unearthed an ancient 3,500-year-old bottle of nectar. The trip was already worth it. Pocketing his discovery, he then entered the ruined tumulus. Something caught his eye on a stone shelf, and picking it up, he found it was a smelted bar of titanium. Clearly, the ancients were more advanced than most gave them credit for. There wasn't much else aside from a large pile of rubble. Hating a mess, Wadsworth got to work clearing it up. His excavation uncovered a wall that didn't look very Gallic at all. Inspecting it revealed a secret door, and beyond it, the smell of adventure. Making his way through the stone passages, Wadsworth found an underground labyrinth containing treasures like ancient bottles of nectar. This would bear further exploration. It was getting late, and as exhaustion set in, Wadsworth found a chamber with a tent in it. There was also a skeleton on the ground, which didn't bode well, but since it had no need for the tent, he bravely decided to spend the night in the chamber. The next morning his exploration continued, and he finally reached the room he was after. In it was the lost item Jolene had so desperately wanted back. A baseball. He didn't know the French even played baseball.
Snurg.
Covered in dust, Wadsworth returned to town.
Oh, Lini Norma.
Hendela Need.
Mm-hmm.
Jonah. Jonah Chush?
Jolene was very happy to have her ball back, as it was apparently her lucky charm. She gave him some old coins in repayment for his trouble, and aside from the cultural opportunity, he'd had an adventure to boot.
Shinani Rock.
Not bad, all things considered. Unable to stand the feeling any longer, Wadsworth returned to his room to wash the dirt off his skin. He would spend the evening relaxing and go home the next day. Before his return trip, he went out to the bridge to get a picture of the Eiffel Tower in the distance.
Mandala.
Maybe he would just get the postcard. Driving up the familiar road, Wadsworth was happy to finally be home.
Giblets.
It was back to the cooking and cleaning, but at least for a few days he'd found some exciting stories to share. He was interested to see what had changed while he was away.